GaonaLive, and on the show today we've got one of my favorite people. I'm glad Shanti's finally here because, should I?
Well, yes. No, go right ahead because I was planning on starting with an apology.
Okay, that is fine. But this is the most incredible performer, by far our country has to offer. And I think even, worldwide, she's one of my favorite people. Shanti, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm doing better than yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm trying not to box you, and I'm going to ask you to, describe what it is that you do. Because I'm thinking, okay, should I call you a performer, a musician, a fashion designer? You're a whole lot of things. So let's go into that.
I think it would probably be safe to say that I'm an artist because an artist is allowed to be whomever they choose in that journey through the art. So sometimes I'm a performer, but I do get into phases where I'm a listener and I'm collecting and I'm absorbing everything that I can. And there are times when I need to let it out, and there are times when I'm learning even new things and getting out of my comfort zone. So all of these things at different stages, depending on how life comes to me or how life unfolds. Yeah.
So now let's take it back to your childhood, your dreams and aspirations as you're growing up.
I always saw myself on a big stage. I always felt that I had something to offer. I always wanted to travel. I always wanted to be someone, to be important to someone. That's how it started off. Coincidentally, or rather strangely, singing, I didn't really know if that would be connected in any way. I think I have a personality that even if I wasn't an artist or singing, I'd still want those things. Do you understand what I mean?
I totally get you.
But yes, I was blessed with the art and the talent to sing and to feel and to deliver those feelings.
And where would you say you got the inspiration to dream that big, traveling the world, in an aeroplane and with, that large audience? Because not every young person imagines that far. Like for a lot of people, it's like, okay, hanga wana kidule hamara gang gene go trupo hanga wana kidule ha haburoni gene ga Africa bora kana. You know what I mean? So have such big dreams.
You know what? I think I have to credit my parents for that. I have to credit the way that I was raised for that. I was raised in a household where even though we didn't get a lot of praises for what we were doing, for our achievements, because I was also very good academically, it was intrinsic in us. We were taught from a very young age that we could be whatever we wanted. And that was reiterated in the education that my father afforded us. I was private schooled, and one thing about private schooling also is the exposure that comes with it.
Absolutely.
So I learned that there is life beyond just my home village, Kanye, where I grew up. There's life beyond my country, and that the world is indeed my oyster.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now, at what point did you become a musician?
I've always been a musician. I joke about it and say that music chose me, and I think that's true to a very large degree. I'm only conscious of it now, and I'm talking about it in retrospect. I started consciously doing it when I was 9. And I've been doing it ever since. I started off with a band called Watoto. And again, that upbringing that I referred to earlier, my father hired a group of musicians from South Africa, and they went on his payroll. And this was to, I suppose, keep me off the streets, because I suppose my parents saw that I had a very spunky personality. and they didn't want me to get into trouble. So they figured, if they hired the musicians, if they took the musicians to me, then it would work out better. And he bought instruments, and so every day after school, I went to rehearse. It was normal. It was routine. It's just the way I grew up.
Wow. And now, then you're also a fashion designer. How did that come about?
Studying fashion design, of course, I've always loved clothes and designing, creating clothes. I was designing even before I went to fashion school. But it was a bit of a rebellion. My father wanted me to do medicine. I wanted to do law. And I figured, well, I've written an interview to go to fashion school, so I'll just go to fashion school. That's what I did.
Oh my, so it wasn't necessarily something that you were that passionate about?
I am passionate about fashion, but I'm becoming less and less so. I'm not one of those trendy fashion designers that are strict on following current trends, but I take pride in the fact that I create classic pieces. So that is something that also has transcended into my music. I want someone to listen to me 10 years down the line, or wear my garment 10 years down the line, and it still fits and it still applies. Do you understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'm all about creating classic pieces.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the brand that you've built, and that's what I totally love about you. But let's continue with you right on the other side of the break, on the other side of the break.